Could we see Sting, Mike Tyson, and Cain Velasquez all in AEW? We talk about it next on the Squared Circle Psychobabble. My name is Michael Valenti. For news, reviews, and conversations on all things pro wrestling, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. So the last 24 hours, we have heard various rumors, various news on these three big names in the combat sporting world linked to All Elite Wrestling. We'll start with Sting, who started this all on Twitter. We got news from Mattel that Sting will not be a part of the Legends series for WWE for the upcoming series, as due to circumstances out of their control. And this was reported by the Major Wrestling Figure podcast hosted by Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, where they quoted exactly what Mattel said. Due to our circumstances out of our control, Sting needed to be removed from Legends Series 7. We'll look to include this figure in a future wave if he becomes available to us again. And Cody Rhodes responded to this with the infamous gif of him listening in that people, anytime someone is rumored to be going to AEW, you always see that gif on Twitter somewhere. Cody beating everyone to the punch with that tweet. And not only that, Sting is also tweeting several people in AEW, recently tweeting out Lance Archer and Jake the Snake Roberts, praising them for what they're doing on AEW Dynamite. In fact, Lance Archer said that he would love to be in the ring with Sting, and Sting actually replied saying that would be something. Maybe we eventually see Sting back in the ring. I know he has not been in a wrestling ring since 2015 after the career-ending injury that he sustained against Seth Rollins at Night of Champions. So maybe he feels up to it for one last match, and could it be against Lance Archer, or maybe it's a one-off? I personally think if anything with Sting right now, his injuries probably will not clear him for wrestling, but I don't know, maybe his body is healed from those injuries. But I see him being the guy that unveils the TNT Championship at Double or Nothing, similar to what we saw with Bret Hart and the AEW Championship and the Rock and Roll Express with the AEW Tag Team Championship. Sting could be another big name that they could promote and bring some more eyeballs to the old WCW fans to Double or Nothing to see him show the new TNT Championship. Now, he's not the only one linked to rumors with AEW. Mike Tyson has now been linked to All Elite Wrestling, as we've all seen the video of him trying to promote a comeback of some sort. Let me tell you, I saw the video. The man looks really good. This is probably the best he's ever been in 20 years. He is in an amazing shape. He looks fast. He looks agile. Those punches look stronger than ever. He could definitely make some kind of comeback, whether that's boxing or, appearing in professional wrestling of some sort. But Mike Tyson looks good. And once again, Cody Rhodes has retweeted that video with the eyes emoji, the one where the eyes are bugging out, look at this kind of thing. And, Mike Tyson is linked to AEW's past, as he did appear at Double or Nothing. And I believe he was on an episode of Being the Elite that followed behind the scenes of Double or Nothing. So maybe they work on some kind of one-off, or maybe some storyline like we saw heading into WrestleMania 14, where Tyson was the enforcer into the Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels championship match. Maybe we see Mike Tyson, he gets some more publicity. He gives AEW some publicity, win-win situation there, and they all have fun in the same case. So maybe we see him in some kind of one-off situation. And that would be great for when fans are back into the arena, when shows are live consistently again, and AEW is looking for that draw. Mike Tyson could definitely be that guy that could draw in the 50-plus demo that they seem to be struggling with. Already established the 18 to 49 demographic, especially with the males that they've already kind of built. Make it even stronger by bringing in some of those combat sport fans that aren't watching AEW. I think that's a great, great move. And another guy that could bring in some of the combat sport fans that don't necessarily watch professional wrestling is Cain Velasquez. And we know that he has some links to professional wrestling. He was recently released from WWE, but it seems like his career is not over yet in professional wrestling, at least in his eyes. Daniel Cormier was recently on Ariel Helwani's podcast where they were talking about Cain Velasquez, and he said that it was, quote, something he was always truly good at. And not only that, he said wrestling has got his heart now. So Velasquez wants to be in professional wrestling, wants to commit to this as a full-time profession. I know it didn't work well in WWE. If you've seen his match with AAA prior to signing with WWE, a lot of people that saw that match will tell you that what we saw in WWE was not the same as the Cain Velasquez we could see if he did some kind of luchador style, some AAA style. And, with AAA having a link to AEW, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, Cody Rhodes and MJF were both in that match that featured Cain Velasquez. So you have that connection there. And if he is, in fact, released from WWE and, does he have the 90-day no-compete clause? I don't know. With his contract, it was probably limited dates anyway. So could he go straight into AEW and be what Brock Lesnar was for WWE? A mixed martial arts crossover to professional wrestling, be a dominating force, have a title for a very, very long time. Now, I understand when you do Brock Lesnar, you think of part-time champion, not always there. But maybe Cain Velasquez does it a totally different way. Maybe he's more committed than Brock Lesnar is. He shows up to more shows. He brings in more ratings and just adds more legitimacy to AEW. And if they eventually make him a champion, the AEW championship or the TNT championship, whatever title he is. So, it makes sense for all three of these guys, Sting, Tyson, and Velasquez, to appear at AEW. The question is, will they? Sting, I could see as a one-off. Tyson, I think that's just Cody trying to create rumors and create buzz, but not necessarily leading towards anything. So I don't think Tyson will be in AEW unless it is for one storyline. But I personally right now doubt it. But stranger things have happened in the professional wrestling world. And Cain Velasquez, if he really is committed to going into professional wrestling full-time, AEW, if he wants to stay in the States and tour the States, AEW obviously would be the better fit for him, knowing that he already tried WWE. It didn't work out for him. And AEW would be the next step there, unless he just wants to do AAA. And then, of course, the partnership with AAA and AEW would allow him to do both. So maybe we do see him there. But let me know in the comments what you think. Will we see Sting, Tyson, and or Cain Velasquez in AEW? Don't forget to share us all over social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at SCPB Podcast. And for news, reviews, and conversations on all things pro wrestling, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. My name is Michael Valenti. Thank you for watching the Squared Circle Psychobabble.